reason could be, but there must have been some kind of issue there where they've had to bring in a sub.
Yeah, I think obviously that's been the case, whether they've had a computer issue or something. We will see. As soon as we get the player list, we'll know who is missing. But obviously sometimes we just spot these things at the very last second as we're about to head into a map, and it can be tough. If we just see Alpha's name, we don't always know which one was missing. We will get there eventually, and we'll pick it up, and we will tell you who it is. But could be poor timing for W7M. Obviously, it certainly won't be through their choice, Jackie. You know, these things happen, but when you're up against a team like INTZ, who I said you're going to be battling with come the end of the season, and you really want that win on the board, could be a difficult one. Alpha, of course, being the coach for W7M, he's brought in over the break, so I'm sure he will know the players. He'll know exactly where he's supposed to be, but as always with a coach coming in, you have to wonder, a lot of them are very mechanically skilled, but not playing at that competitive level regularly. You know, is he going to as sharp as maybe he needs to be?
Yeah, that's what makes it rough. Is because obviously bringing a coach in is probably the next best move you can make when it comes to having to bring a sub in if you need a sub. But it's the game skill that will be lacking a little bit there in terms of the firepower, the gun skill. That's where he might be lacking if he's not playing as regularly. Okay, so look, we've got Panico, Freezel, Padrin, Gui, and Alpha then for this one. That's going to be the core five we're rocking with. That's actually really rough.
Herds has gone.
I wonder what's up. I wonder why Herds has had to dip out. That's a shame, dude. Like, especially on a map like Oregon, right? You're going to feel that.
That's not good for... I mean, it's never good to lose any of your main five. But Herds, as we've said, you know, we saw him have 3 back-to-back entry frags on Cafe. He is a player that can really power you into rounds and power you through the end of them. He is an absolute stone-cold gunner. He's the Ash. He's usually on the entry. That now is going to fall directly to Alpha. So interestingly, they're just sitting Alpha straight into Herds' position. Now, that might not be a bad idea, Jackie, because he's not having to play a massive part in any strats particularly. If you're on the Ash, your job is go in and get kills. So W7M might find that they are playing some of these rounds from behind if Alpha's unable to do that, or he loses his life to the players of INTZ who are looking sharp so far today, who are warmed, you know, right up.
Yeah.
If he's unable to contend on that level and loses his life a couple of times, it's not the end of the world to lose the Ash. You've still got the other utility that you need. So in that sense, it might play into them a little bit. It might not be the end of the world. You know, say they'd lost Padrin as the hard breacher, and then, you know, they didn't want to put Alpha on there, so Herds had to move on to hard. It becomes more disruptive within the team, so that might not be terrible.
I see. I completely understand your perspective, how you're looking at it. But here's my take on this one, Tim. I feel like it could actually really hurt him, just in the sense of Herds, we know his playstyle. It's very different, right? He's very aggressive. He will literally bounce off the walls. The man is a bit crazy in the way he approaches those entry frags. Dropping someone like Alpha into that role, who is clearly more skilled in the sense of what we've seen from his brain, right? How he makes the team operate, what he does behind the scenes in that more of a coaching analyst role. Bringing him in and plopping him into a position where you're like, mate, we need you to gun. You need to be a sick gunner. Use that gun skill, run around. We want you fragging hard, getting entries. If you can't live up to the mark and they still try and play off the same strategies where you're relying on having nearly a consistent entry frag from Herds, it could come back to bite them, Tim. It could be quite frustrating.
I think there's an important point that we are missing, Jackie. All that said, Alpha does have the black ice.
Ooh, all right, you know what? I'll take it all back.
Take it all back. Forget it.
Sorry.
He's a stone cold gunner. That's the only way that it could be. He's gonna be looking to put INTZ onto ice. We'll see if he can achieve it or not. The Ash is going to be one to watch as this one continues. We'll see exactly how Alpha does. Now, we've seen coaches fit in fantastically well in the past. You know, I'm thinking all the way back to an invitational where Dizzle sat in for Fnatic and absolutely took Evil Geniuses apart. And if I remember rightly, that was on Oregon, Jackie. So there is form here. There is history.
Well, let's see if the history books will be repeating themselves. We'll have to ring up whoever it was that was designated the history teacher, as right now there is certainly some lessons being laid out. As we see Vitz schooling Freezel in the opening moments. Alpha, a little bit timid to go for the peek towards the doorway. Is he going to swing in? Debating whether or not he wants to go for this execution around the corner. Fires up a couple of warning shots. Oh, Tim, this round could get very loud as Drunk's waiting, lying there with the Alder. Let's see if he'll make things a bit louder when he goes for the peek as Alpha pushes up. holding the rotation. Back up from Padrin. They're going in together. The angle's not actually being watched. It is covered now, though. From behind the back of the bunk, the wide swing going in. VNX will be dropped. Alpha suffers. We also see another man falling there in the dying moments, and it's all down to this. Panico in a 1 versus 3. They are low. He could finish them off, and he's given a fighting chance. Switches to the SMG. Knife in the air as he tries to push up. 15 seconds left. Can he get the diffuser and get an opportunity to win this one? Reloads the mag. Takes the close peek on the left-hand side. Spotted out by the cam. Will he push in and fully commit? Leaving the diffuser on the ground. Suspicion finds the shot as he pre-fires around, but he didn't pick up the diffuser, Tim. He could have opened it if he would have picked it up.
You've got to look at that as a potential bit of an error from Panico there, not picking up that diffuser on his way past and at least giving himself that option. But to be fair, we'd seen the man dive down the stairs. He was just trying to survive, the last one alive for Ints, but also could have challenged onto any potential plant with a vertical angle. So it's not necessarily dead set that having the diffuser in hands would really have impacted on that round. But Panico, he's really got to grab it on his way past so that he's got that opportunity at least. But what an opener he had there on Duds on the Jaeger. Just managed to spot the man out with a pixel and get round and close him down. But Ints, they are going to come away and secure round 1, and that's really not ideal for W7M. There's nothing, you know, I'm not going to make any comment about Alpha there. He played his role, he got into sight, he made a challenge, not too much of a problem. You know, there was nothing that he did that like cost W7M the round or anything like that. But ultimately, the more rounds that Ints get on the board and you're having to come from that position of being behind, it just makes it more and more difficult when you don't have your main man in Herds. Let's not forget as well, Jackie, something we haven't mentioned yet. Herds on Oregon. We've seen him have 20 kills in one map here on Oregon.
Oh, dude, the guy's unreal. Like, he can really do an awful lot of damage. Okay, it does look like we've got a bit of an update coming in as well for anyone that is curious about why Alpha's been subbed in. Apparently, right now we've got a lot of internet issues that are plaguing Herds. Seems like he is currently lagging, so they've had to sub him out. It makes sense. If consistency is going to be the issue, it's worth at least having a player that's on stable ping that can play and perform consistently, rather than Herds obviously dropping in and out and the entire tempo going out of whack. So I can respect it. It makes sense.
Oh, total respect to Alpha for stepping up, you know, absolutely, as a coach and just getting involved. And if you're in that situation where one of your players is struggling to that degree and it's really impacting on their potential performance, just going in there and saying, look, you know, don't worry about it, my connection's stable, let's just switch it out, I'm going to go in and do it, I'm going to bring the R4C Black Ice along with me and I'm just going to slay on this server. I'd love to see it at this point. You know, we've said it, Jackie, we're British, we love an underdog. Let's go Alpha, let's have, you know, a 20 bomb from him. I think we'd all love to see it.
Ooh, well, on the flip side, we're talking about frags being found, and look, Duds does the damage early on. Jaeger running away with things. Alpha, hot on his trail, looking like a detective as he tries to sniff out where he is. Will he find him, though? Will he be able to creep down the stairway? For now, he backs off and instead repositions with the rest of the team, going for more of a Wolfpack style play into the round. You've still got 2 minutes as well. So it's a really early frag from Int, and it's one that they've gotten away with scot-free because it was a bit of a roam play from Duds. He is low, yes, but he's still alive, and that is the major point about it. If he falls back towards site and helps play on a crossfire, it doesn't matter how low he is, because it's still manpower advantage towards Int, and that is going to hurt more for W7M. Concussions going out, being sucked up by the Wamai magnets, and the ADS is round the corner to try and delay the early push here from W7M, Tim. And they are halted at the stairs.
Alpha going in, doing his job on the Ash there, clearing out the utility. That's going to give a little bit of access to Freezer. He's going to try and continue pushing that with Guy, and we'll see if he can gain any access. Now, if the W7M want to open up a potential plant spot here, they need to think about that bunker wall and getting it open while you have a man playing in that location that we've just seen, sort of in behind the shells in the storage room. It's very difficult to actually gain enough control over site to get in and get the diffuser down. You have to start focusing towards laundry at that point. So I'd be interested to see where that Selma device has just been activated now. Guy will be shut down by Duds. Duds having a better game here too on the round, and that is something that he needed. He was a little bit light in kills last time around, and it very potentially hurt W7M. It could have been the difference between a draw and a win on that map, but he's certainly doing better here. Panico has been downed, will be collected back onto 20 health. Padrin knowing that he needs all the help he can get here with the Toxic Babe canisters raining out in front of him. 30 seconds left to go, and this attack just feels like it's stalled out a little bit, and it will stall A little bit more as Alemo shuts down Padron. It's all down to Alpha. Shut down by VNX. Got himself a kill just before that, but traded out. INTZ, they secure the defense on Laundry, and that is going to be 2-0 to them now. Here comes the big opportunity for W7M on the attack. INTZ, they're having to head to a tertiary site. It's going to be meeting or dining. We'll see which they choose. We'll put our mastery, newfound mastery of the Portuguese language to use, Jackie, and we can confirm that it is going to be dining and kitchen. Sala de jantar is dining room.
There we go. Lovely little stuff. A little replay from that round as well. Look at that. Look at that on that flick, man.
It's nice.
That is disgusting. That's cinematic stuff. It's like something out of a Michael Bay movie, mate, as he was certainly pushing out the boundaries on that blockbuster of a play. We return to the action now, though, of course. It is a 2-0 scoreline so far. And here's what does make it a bit rough, a bit of a caveat on top of, obviously, these rounds that are being won so far for INTZ. It's a 2-0, but you're against a slightly weakened roster because W7M, they've lost a big star. Their brightest North Star in Herds has unfortunately gone out. It seems like that's plaguing them a little bit into a couple of these rounds. A few minor mistakes as well, where it does seem like in the difference of a clutch round, maybe they could have pulled one out if they would have slightly adjusted their play here and there. But in the meantime, it is Oregon. It is defender-sided. Even if it is still only slightly at this point, it does definitely favour a lot of our Brazilian defending teams. We've seen that historically throughout both Stage 1 and Stage 2. And INTZ, they're on the defence for now. And they're doing just that, mounting a very tenacious defense. They've had 2 rounds on the board. Can they get themselves a third and almost guarantee they'll win the half? Or will there be a bit of a resurgence from W7M coming into this one? What can they do right here, right now?
Castle Barricade being pre-hit by VNX there, so anybody wondering exactly what he's doing or why he's doing it. The Castle Barricades, I think it's 11 hits they take. I don't think that's been altered at any point. So it takes 11 melee hits to clear that out. So quite often the defenders will put 10 on there so that they can burst out if needs be. A little bit of a bait, a little bit of an escape route sometimes. It can be used in either direction effectively, but one way or another, VNX, he's put the pre-hits on there, so if needs be, he can leave there quickly, but it is certainly at least going to leave the impression that he is protected from behind, and he certainly will be from gunfire at the least. Now, the pressure is mounting very quickly. He's not going to have a chance to escape from anything as Padron moves in with a headshot onto VNX, clears out the castle, and that is going to be Ace going by the wayside. Alemo bursting forth, but shut down by Freezow in a trade, and this one's going backwards and forwards. Vitz, however, steps in with a double onto Freezow and Alpha, and that is going to leave us now 2 versus 2 as we see aggression coming in towards the bottom of stairs. Guy, he's got himself into a tricky location there. He's got the rotation to showers. He's got the single door of kitchen. It is a real power position to be able to move around quickly to the different sites. We might well just see the diffuser going down here from Guy as well. He's going to take that opportunity. He does have a man on the cover. The bulletproof camera, the angle will not be wide enough to tell them what is going on. Here comes the push from the single door, but they're playing into the ADS. Shots will be taken by Panico, but only very briefly through the wall. Drunks has taken some damage as well, and there is about 25 seconds left for them to do something about this on the side of INTZ, or they will find themselves losing the round. W7M have got themselves in nice positions, trying to use a fine angle there, goes in and gets the kill. That's the first they need onto Panico. 1 versus 2 now. They have to make this challenge soon onto Guy to be able to get onto this diffuser. He's stood right on top of it like a mother hen, just trying to protect those eggs. Shut down, and very quickly, 3 seconds to spare. Duds dives on the diffuser with the disable, and he's going to close out the round for INTZ. That's unfortunate for W7M. They were very close to putting their first round up on the scoreboard.
Got a bit scary on that one. Almost looked as if they were just going to give them the 2-1 versus 1s so that he'd have those individual firefights to be able to pick up an easy frag, flick to the other angle and get the second. Luckily, they play off each other's contact. They push in. Timing was good. They catch him off guard and they find the much needed final kill there to pick up a 3rd round. The defense of INTZ here in Oregon, it's coming together. Everything's working out for them. You've got yourselves 3 already. Now you're in a position where you can do better. Win the half out, get yourself a 4th, and then go from that point forward. There's not too much here for W7M. That's the closest they've got so far. Actually getting the diffuser down and leaving it into a 1v2. Previously, they had a 1v1 round, but Panico, when he was in a position where he could have picked up the diffuser on his pathway and still gotten it down rather than having to go for the final frag. He didn't. They got outplayed by the time. That one, a little bit better, a little bit tighter, so close to hitting the mark and getting a first on the board. But they need to be thirsty for these rounds, Tim. You need to get something soon, as this game is slipping away from you. And if it does, that means INTZ could get a one-map win here off the back of this. The first map was, of course, a draw, so there's no points to be gained from that. That's dead in the water. But this one still has a lot riding on it.
Yeah, we do play best of twos here, so the point structure, for anybody unaware, is it's awarded across both maps, so you don't get points for individual maps, as you've probably gathered from what we've been saying. But basically, 2 wins on both maps, they will get you 3 points on the board. A win and a draw, as INTZ are looking to be cruising towards right now, that will get you 2 points on the league table. Now, a win and a loss, or 2 draws, that will get you 1 point. It's classed as a draw overall across the 2 maps. And then a draw and a loss, or 2 losses, that will be absolutely zip, a big fat 0 for you, and there is no points awarded. So W7M, they are staring down the barrel of that, and to be honest with you, Jackie, it's just so unfortunate to be in that position. Herd's obviously struggling there. It is unfortunately the nature of online games. You know, it is unpredictable, and this is how the majority of seasons are played out, and usually we don't see those issues from individuals, but in this case, Herd's is struggling today. To think further down the line, you know, it can impact on final positions, and so it could be a tough one for W7M to take, but I hope that they just do what they can here, walk away from it. You know, that's happened. Let's move on. Let's just go into the next play day and be as strong as we can. But at the same time, INTZ, you know, it's out of their hands. It's not their responsibility. They just need to play what's in front of them, come out here professionally and close this one down and get any points that are available to them.
Mate, you've got to just make the most of the situation you're in. There's still a chance as well. That's a scary factor, right? Like, it's still your attacking side. There's a lot that goes into this. When you get plopped onto your defense, it might be a bit easier to fall into pieces. With the coach being in there, could come together. 1:30 though here in round 4. We'll talk about the present for now. Talking of presents, there's a first frag gifted to Guy, as he'll be able to shut down Wits. He was on Vitals, and he's just seen green die. Let's see where it goes from here then. 1:15 left to work with. They have to try and up the tempo, pushing in towards the site now if they want to fully commit into this. You've got the first frag. Build off the back of it. Don't give them too much time to turtle up and set up those crossfires. Drunks as well. Bit of an exposed angle, playing effectively a 1 and done. As he was watching both of those 2 positions towards the pool table. If he stayed exposed there, he could have been shot in the side of the head and given him a second free kill. But they haven't committed. They're still just chipping away, waiting, knowing that they've got a bit of time left. 50 seconds. Utility going in to zap out the ADSs and the Wamai discs that are in play to delete their utility from giving them a fighting chance. Alamau and Duds have a crossfire set up as well. They can play off each other's contact, and they've got the hatch control, and they do get the first kill. He drops out off the back of it. We can see Drunks coming into play with the Alder. As he looks towards the stairway, they're halting them, but the diffuser is going down. Carnage has kicked off on the site as commotion has erupted everywhere. They tried to sprint back in. Diffuser's down though, it's a bit too late. Peeks in, close contact, not gonna work. LMG cuts him in half like a massive saw blade, leaving it just on Panico and Padrin. They know where the diffuser is, but it's smoked off.
Interesting use of the smoke utility there. You could look at that and think it doesn't actually benefit the attackers, but in a way, I think it possibly does. But how about that from Duds? Huge jump out on the flank. We saw him drop the hatch. We didn't know where he'd gone. He's wriggled his way underneath into the small tower. Out of the window he goes. 2 fantastic kills. Duds is finding his way back into this one. He had a tough cafe, but Oregon is being a much kinder mistress to him, and he is having a field day right now, shutting that down and allowing the disable once again. Just to come back to the comment I was making about the smoke utility, I think they might have been, I don't know if there was a drone or something potentially, or if they were happy enough to just listen, but if you saw the man outside, I think it was Panico that was outside, as that smoke got deployed by the attackers, and you could look at it and think it blocks the line of sight to the diffuser. Why would they do that? But his ADS was absolutely locked on to that diffuser. He was just waiting for a noise, and he would have absolutely sprayed it down. So I'm confident that W7M could have made that challenge onto anybody trying to disable the diffuser, and it basically stopped them being challenged on double window. So it was a bold play, it was a gamble, but I think it was a well-calculated gamble. But what they didn't calculate, what they didn't plan on was Duds just leaping out of that small tower window and destroying them from the rear.
Oh yeah, dude, like the smoke play makes complete sense because essentially you can set yourself up and just watch an angle, and line it up in a way where you can watch towards the diffuser and know where it is. So it doesn't matter if it's smoked; it's still going to work for you. There's a lot you can do that goes into it. It's why it's also worth having like set default plants that you want to do. So if an execute like that, they probably run it on the server a couple of times in terms of custom games where you'd be like, okay, look, literally this is going to be the default plant spot that we'll go for. You can line up based off this, smoke it, and then just shoot here, free frag every time. They've got to defuse from either these two angles, so you'll know where to spray it. It does make sense. Unfortunately, you can't account for the big backstab from Dudley Do Right, who did do right in the round, coming up with 8 frags now, Tim. 8-1. Only 1 death over the course of this game. We're looking really good with the way he's been playing it. What's scary is this is just looking like Ints are getting closer and closer to potentially having a 6-0 half against W7M. It feels like they're getting so close, yet so far every time. Normally we do ask the question of how many times can you win those 1vx's? Because there's been a lot of 1v1s this game. I think 3 out of the 4 rounds have all gone down to effectively 1vx clutches.
I think looking at the list of matches that we had in front of us today, Jackie, it would have been very difficult to predict or call that we might be staring down the barrel of a second 7-0 on the day. Of course, for anybody who missed it, MIBR, I won't call a spoiler, I think you've probably figured out where I was going. You've had time to mute by now, but MIBR, they took the first map 7-0 against NIP. So to come in here and potentially have a second 7-0, obviously there are other factors being included here, but it really is a surprise for us on the day, to be fair.
It is quite a surprising result. A lot of it's been show-stopping, but there's no stopping W7M into this round as they're revving their engines and getting ready to push their way into the site. Now, executing into this, you've got a lot of avenues to entry. It's one of the most accessible sites in terms of coming in every which way. From the front, from the stairs, from the hatches, from the windows to the walls, Tim. There's going to be a lot that will go down into this one, but we've got nearly 60 seconds left. Coming up to it quickly as time is racing by. Duds trying to make a bit of a play, going to be held at bay. He really wanted to fully commit to that, but instead he'll just hold for the contact, drop down the smoke can instead. They can rotate out and reinforce behind, which is the move that they'll now make.
Which is still going to be applied from the bunker there. They are certainly not giving it up. We can see the first contact there. Challenges being made from behind the deployable. That's 2 kills coming in. Freezow and Alpha getting in on the business to begin with. And 1 will be traded out. But oh, I thought actually the man was downed in closet, but absolutely not. Alemao just hits the deck through choice and then gets back up and slays with the shotty. He's going to close it down. 4 versus 3 now. Out goes the Nitro. Won't be successful, but this is still very doable for Ints. There is a lot of work for W7M to do. Freezow, of course, on super low health here. He is an absolute breath from death as he tries to push in from the freezer. Right now, this one hangs in the balance. 14 seconds left to go. Padrin's getting the diffuser down. We've got a direct trade there as Freezow gets the kill onto VNX, but shut down by Alemao. Alemao going massive on the round, but ultimately shut down. And W7M, they stave off the possibility of a 7-0. They get themselves around on the board, and they are showing that even without their top man of herds, they can still be competitive inside the rounds.
It's one, but it's a round that was needed, pivotal for them to actually get any type of buffer to play with. Now, of course, a 4-1 split on the scoreline. The question becomes, who is going to snatch away the final round? Take the crown from whoever thinks has it coming into this last match of the first half here. Obviously, 4 rounds already is pretty damn good from Ints. They've got a lot to work with. You're on your defense, though, and if you can get any more, definitely make the most out of it. 6 picks coming in, a bit of a bait play there, Maestro to Maestro, conducting some shenanigans, and instead, on the other side of things, we had the Hibana moving on to a Maverick for W7M. Freezow going to be the man touting that with a big Bunsen burner on his back. Looking across the board in terms of stats as well, it's all very even on the side of W7M. I mean, quite literally 1 frag difference between all of them having 3 kills across the board, Tim. There is a bit of a spike, though, for Ints, right? You look at it, all eyes immediately go to Duds. He's been cleaning up. Alemao in close second with 7 kills as well. The the team's firing right now. They're looking good, they're hitting their connections, and they're being able to do some damage. The two players that I'm surprised aren't actually having that much of an impact, though, are Vitz and VNX. Specifically VNX as well. I would have thought we'd have seen a lot more of him here on Oregon.
It's been a big weekend for him, no two ways about it. He's played very, very well so far, and as you say, a little bit quiet so far. We'll see if he can get himself into this. He's going to have to do it soon, because I don't think there's too much left of this game, if I'm honest. W7M, they've got themselves around there, and it, you know, does start to get them rolling a little bit, but I think INTZ will continue to close this one out, especially if Duds and Alem are allowed to keep their heads up and keep running at W7M in the way that they have been. But W7M, they can at least take some solace from the fact they've got themselves around on the board, and it is a starting point, if nothing else. It is a long way back from here. There is certainly a journey to be made, but it all starts with a single step, and that is exactly what they've just put on the board. So 4-1 now on the scoreboard to INTZ. INTZ are going to be looking to close out this defensive half with the 5th round, I am absolutely certain. So they only want to go in to the attack, requiring 2 rounds to get themselves the win and 2 points on the scoreboard. Now, a little bit of progress being made inside the map. Gia's gone in, Freezow along with him. He's no doubt going to open up the hatch in meeting there. I don't know where those shots were coming from, just firing through the rear stage. I don't know if they're aimed at some utility or whether there's been a bit of an exchange up there between somebody and Freezow, possibly. I see one of the INTZ silhouettes just disappearing from that area, so maybe there's a little bit of a tete-a-tete there, but Freezow won't take any damage.
A minute and 30 left. Quick work made of the hatch as Freezow will open that one up. They get ready, priming themselves for a stab in the dark. A much needed round here for W7M. You've done it once. Can you do it again? Will INTZ's defense be up to scratch this time? Last time buckling under the pressure. Freezow on the quick rotation back over. That's now both of the hatches dealt with, so they do have those entry points to contend with. Nomad coming into play as well, as Guy will shoot out those air jabs and start to block off rotation points for if they do get that diffuser down, making it much harder for INTZ to rotate. But I'll tell you what isn't hard, for them to land a ginormous throw of the smoke can there, landing in a pivotal position and doing a nice bit of damage, forcing them back. Look at the damage though, we've seen one player dropped already. Duds is gone out. That's one of their biggest fraggers on the side of INTZ at the minute, dead on the ground. This could punish them unless they get something back. Tags here and there, but no frags are being found. They're just softening up the opposition. They're not being able to capitalize because of it. They're pushing up as well. They've got confidence. They've got to get in, and Freezow has to crack open that diffuser. The final smoke can goes out, and it will be the shots to finish him. Diffuser drops on the ground, recovered. But what do they do from here? They're losing all of their manpower. It's a 4 versus 2 with 10 seconds left. They'll have to gamble on grabbing it. There's no way it can be a 1 versus 4 for Panico. Fires off warning shots, but he knows this one's done.
W7M, a fraction away there, really. They had a good start to the round, opened things up with the kill from Panico, managed to get themselves control of Laundry, and managed to even maneuver Freezow in a position to start getting that diffuser down, but he was challenged immediately and had to dip away from it, and then the kill rained in, and it just all went downhill from there. It was like the card on the bottom row of a house of cards had just been pulled out, and everything else came tumbling down afterwards very, very quickly. So that leaves INTZ 5-1 at the half, and to be honest, they are looking good for it now. For anybody who's joined since the beginning of this map, it's worth pointing out that we have unfortunately had a substitution on the side of W7M. In between the two maps, the main man Herds, their usual entry fragger, unfortunately experiencing some quite severe internet issues, I think, on a personal level, has had to withdraw from the game. So Alpha, he is the coach for W7M. He's stepped in and he's certainly giving a good account of himself so far. He's getting himself into good positions, and as the coach, obviously you'd expect him to know the strategies. He knows exactly where he needs to be and when, what function he needs to fill, but it's been a tough one for W7M, it's fair to say. They've certainly been competitive. They've come out and, you know, given it their all in every single round, and you've got to give them props for that. Total respect to W7M, but ultimately coming up against a team like INTZ, who are a very good outfit, not being at full strength, it's always going to be tough.
Oh, it's always going to hold you. It's a shame. It's one of those, though, where, you know, at this point, I suppose it still technically could have been worse, right? They got the first game in. It was a very close fight. Potentially, there could have been a win there for them on Cafe, but it didn't go that way. You drew on Cafe. Worst case outcome for the day here, you don't get any points. You walk away conceding a few to ints if they win this one. It's still an if. There's still more that can be done. Obviously, it's a bit easier. Putting a player like Alpha on a role where he can just defend rather than having to be your main source of entry frags, it's definitely going to give him a bit less stress. And hopefully taking that stress off him means he'll be able to perform on the defense here. So, back in round 7. Ints, however, they've got a player that has certainly been performing well on the entry. Ash is now donned by Duds. Duds was cleaning up. The multi-kills he was getting over the course of the first half were really working out for the side of Ints. Now you pop him on a roll where he's off the leash. He can run in, he can roam about, clear out those levels, and sniff out anyone that's hiding in any nooks and crannies for W7M. He'll be having a field day with it. Quick work done as well, bringing the Habana in to open up those hatches and already put some pressure on W7M.
Int's confident that they have got the mid-floor control that they needed now. We can see the silhouettes all out there perfectly. We have got a split fight vertically here. We've got all 5 operators of Ints all around that mid-floor. And by contrast, W7M, they are turtled up inside, holding their angles and just waiting for the push to come in from Ints. And Ints, whilst there is still plenty of time available to them, they do need to be careful here that they don't let the round get away from them. And they do need to start pushing forward. They've got a couple of men down towards bunker, so the pressure will start to mount now. Quite an aggressive defense being held there by Freezow. He's right up on that corner. No shield directly in front of him. We can see those Wamai magnets just being dealt with by the utility there. They know that there'll be a shield around that corner. Very common location for it. So out continues to come. That utility now trying to burn ADSs. I think, did they get rid of the shield? No, it is protected just. What a beautiful shot we get of that as well. Just as the explosive grenade reaches the shield, the ADS will pluck it out of the sky. You certainly do not need to be afraid of grenades now.
45 seconds though. The big boom is probably still yet to come into this round. Ooh. Damage done. A few bullets pepper spraying towards Padrian. That'll leave him low. The mute almost completely turned off there, but right now there's still a bit of rumbling that could come from him. Fits on the rotation, back over, lurking, peering down the hatch and waiting for the call to be made when they want to instigate this attack. And it has to come soon. They don't have much time to do that. They can't afford to waste this one. Oh, they might get wasted though. If they drop in, it depends on the timing with the execution. The Nitro could have finished him off, but it will go off prematurely. Vitz gets in, over the top, spots him with a headshot, but they've got 9 seconds. You've got to get your frags. Nitro going down, shatters Alamal. It's all on Nomad in a 1 versus 4. No chance for this man as he is trapped.
W7M coming out strong on the defence, as you suggested that they might do, Jackie. That substitution is likely to have a little bit less of an effect on this side of the coin because Alpha, he can be put in a position and left to hold angles. It's not the end of the world now. They don't need that aggressive roam game coming out from him, as you said, and that is exactly how it looks like they're going to use him. So they get a second round on the board there, 2-5 now, and it's one round at a time for W7M. In the back of their minds, you know, they might be thinking that there's a possibility here, but it is absolutely just 1 round at a time that they need to take this one and see what comes their way. It's not going to be easy by any means, but they are showing us so far that they are capable of taking rounds from this Ints team. But you mentioned it, Jackie. You've got to look back to Cafe, and you can't predict these things. You know, it happens. Herds has had an issue. And
Right, we're back in on Oregon. We're kicking it back off. 5-2. If you're just joining us, of course, you might be a little bit confused. Don't worry. There's been no roster changes. I like that, Tim. I always like going for that. Don't worry, guys. Just calm down. It's fine.
Calm down. Imagining
chill.
people
It's
in
fine.
like a wild panic at home because there's a new name on the server.
Yeah, it's all right. There hasn't been a roster change. You know, we made a bit of a substitution. Herds has dropped out. Unfortunately, his internet's really bad today. It's the nature, right? Online gaming, sometimes it can't be helped. If they're not playing from a team house together or a LAN center together right now in the current climate, sometimes it's going to happen. Your internet goes a little bit haywire. They've made the option to sub in Alpha to come in to at least have the stable internet to work with to reduce the chance of everything just going wrong inside a pivotal round. It didn't look great on their attack. I think it's fair to say it was rough. He was plopped into an entry role on the Ash. They weren't really getting too much going. It wasn't exactly just him letting down rounds, though. It just felt like the team was sluggish into the first half, Tim. Now you're on defense, it's going better for them. They're starting to get a bit of momentum back. Seems like they're getting into it. Let's hope that they can keep it up at least keep this game going. It is obviously a 5-round scoreline for INTZ, which means they haven't got to 6 yet. They haven't got that draw guaranteed, Tim.
Absolutely not. And round number 8, we're going to be heading up to dorms this time around. Now, it's worth talking about the strategy of dorms a little bit, because I've noticed, I've not really picked up on it or mentioned it yet, Jackie, but I've noticed over the last couple of days, we've seen a little bit of a difference in the attacks that we've had coming in here. So generally, your primary attack is going to be head towards attic, as they are doing now, get the wall open, pressure into attic, get into master closet, open the wall up, pressure into game room, try and get in there. You've got your crossfires established, get the diffuser down. That would be the general attack. But, I mean, we've just seen it done differently out of W7. A lot of attention paid towards double window, but I think it's fair to say, you know, that their attacks might have been slightly different based on the manpower that they had available as well. But over the last couple of days, we've noticed a lot of pushers coming in from a small tower and looking to push up the white stairs. Now, that's something historically on Old Oregon that used to be very common for this site. Try and get a man pushed up white stairs and to just apply pressure towards kids' dorms particularly. But it's certainly something that we're seeing a little bit more of. Now, I'm not sure we're going to see any on this attack. It doesn't look like anybody's heading over that way, but it just feels like the attack on dorms is just at a little bit of a tipping point whereby people are feeling, actually, this is quite a good defensive site, and we're finding ourselves fighting against 3 or 4 in the late round repeatedly, so maybe we need to start innovating a little bit. And that's what I love about these new maps, when you see the attacks get to that point where actually defense is quite successful in this location, so then it starts shifting up, and I feel like that's the point we're really getting to with Oregon.
Well, as we get into round 8, we've got about 1 minute and 20 seconds left. You've just ticked past it, obviously, for Drunks. He was plopped onto his backside, and he's at least been picked back up and brought back into the fight for now. Let's see where this round is going to go from, though, as it starts to develop into the final 60 seconds of this one. Creeping up, looking to gain map control bit by bit. When it comes to the biting point, will they bite the head off Vitz? He strikes first and actually gets the double kill. The Cali not using the bolt action, instead slapping him down with the SMG sidearm. The AK of VNX comes out to play as well, looking like Ice Cube as he drops another man. And I'll tell you what, Tim, this round might be easy. Easy-E. They're walking away with a victory here. This will be a draw guaranteed. It's going to be all on one man. The super sub, the coach of Alpha. And unfortunately for him, he's been annihilated, overthrown by VNX on the peak with a Kalashnikov, as Nomad will knock him out, and they will get themselves a guaranteed draw.
1 point is going to go onto the league table for INTZ. There is absolutely no two ways about that. If you look towards the top of your screen, you can see that map number 1, Cafe, was 6-0, also denoted. We don't always point this out, and I suppose 1 or 2 people might wonder. The little yellow bars that we've got there up at the top. Generally speaking, if you win a map, the whole yellow bar would be lit up left or right side, depending who won. But our producer Simon does some wonderful work, and when it's a draw, he illuminates just half of each. So that's a little telltale sign for you as well if you're watching on mobile or anything and those scores up at the top are a little small. I mean, producer Simon's got you covered. He's got the pop-out that comes out top left as well and tells you the previous map scores. He likes to answer those questions before they get asked, but it's just another way of telling exactly what's gone on. The fact that we've had a draw there in the beginning and now a guaranteed draw on Oregon for INTZ, that means they are secure with 1 point going on the board. But the likelihood here, everything is pointing towards them taking this one, and they will get 2 points overall. So they're going to be attacking once again onto dorms now. W7M, they weren't really anywhere near defending that. They were just run over by an angry tide of INTZ players there, completely shut down with a big double opener to kick things off from Vitz, and it just went from there. It was like a domino rally after that point. He had knocked the first, and the rest fell one after another after another.
That's the thing about dominoes, they always fall over.
I suppose it depends what you're doing with them. If you're setting them up as a domino rally, I'd completely agree. But
if you're actually playing dominoes,
my young daughter's partial to a game of dominoes. She enjoys it. Yeah, I think one of her grandparents showed her, and she's partial to a game of dominoes.
Because that was going to be my next question. Like, has anyone actually ever played a game of dominoes, or have they specifically had dominoes about the house and sort of, you know, made a little line of them and then knocked them over and gone,
and then put them back in the cupboard?
Yeah, and then forgotten about them for a couple of weeks. So you do it again one time around your nan's house. And that was what I did.
And I would join you in that, Jackie, the majority of the time. But yeah, someone somewhere down the line has shown her how to play, and she loves a bit of it. Yeah, it's good fun.
There you go. She's already more skilled than me, Tim. It's a good start. Getting them in early.
Domino arena.
Yeah. To be fair, you never know, man. Sometimes in life that skill could come in very useful, I suppose. Anyway, let's see how this game is going to fall over when the dominoes start to get pushed. At this point, we just got past the 2-minute mark. Obviously, it is a 6-2 split on the scoreline. For INTZ, they need one final round. This final round, if they can get it, to pick themselves up the victory, 7-2, and that will be a 1-map win, 1-map draw outcome for them, meaning they will get an acceptable amount of points from this series. Impact grenades being chucked back to try and stop the Selma devices, but all they'll do is kick up a bit of dirt in the face of Drunks. Padrin will come through with the first frag, though, as he slays out, shutting down Duds. Response from Drunks with the AK, finds the headshot. Does drop us into this position. A 4v4 with 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining. This could be spicy.
Master Closet is proving a sticking point at the minute for INTZ. They keep trying to challenge that angle, but if they continue, they will lose lives to it. Out goes that smoke utility, and that is going to potentially allow them to open the wall into attic. Generally, that is why it is deployed there. The Selma device goes on, and it just prevents it being shot off. I wondered why Lemo was holding his trigger finger there, but will ultimately shut down Freezo. Gee gets himself one onto Drunks, and W7M are keeping themselves in this fight very well at the minute. That minute is over as VNX and Alemo come in with a big double. And once again, we find one man at the top of White Stairs with an enormous task ahead of him. Panico, 1 versus 3. Diffuser is down on the ground at the minute. Will need collecting by INTZ. But I don't think that is their main focus at the minute. They know where the man is. They come in to challenge. He's down to 1 HP and a dream. He's got a nightmare in front of him as Vitz shuts him down. That is going to be the game. INTZ, they will claim the win. In difficult circumstances for W7M, it is only fair to say that is a shame for them. But INTZ, it's out of their control, and they take the win.
Alright, it's a bit rough, right? Like, it's a little bit unfortunate in the sense that it's not the full 5-man roster. Herd's dropping out early due to unforeseen internet issues at his house. That's rough. But it's not anything you can prepare for. It's not anything that you can really look at and go, guys, we've lost this because of our mistakes. We lost this because we messed up here. It's not the full team. It was a bit of a rough day coming in. They had a great